From Peppermill Resort in Reno, Nevada, this is Poker Night in America. Welcome to Poker Night in America. I'm your host, Chris Hansen. Todd Brunson, the son of legendary poker player Doyle Brunson, has managed to create his own identity in the world of poker, which is not easy to do when your father is a poker legend. But with 33 cashes in the WSOP and almost $4 million in tournament winnings, nicknamed Darkhorse, he's also known for having won over $13.5 million in a two-day span in a heads-up $50,000, $100,000 limit hold'em game, later chronicled in the book The Professor, the Banker, and the Suicide King. He agreed to join us at our cash table, and while we can't give him nosebleed action like that, we can still show him a pretty good time. Let's catch up with Todd and the rest of our pros at our $25.50 cash game at Peppermill Resort Hotel in Reno, Nevada.
Whoever wins the pot gets
Poker Night is brought to you by 888 Poker, where the world plays online.
You mean only for you? It's like a personal thing?
Under the gun, yes.
Al Adler makes it 125 with ace jack. The blinds are $25 and $50, but there is an optional $100 straddle if you're under the gun.
The water would be great.
A raise from David Lynn playing poker with queen 7 of clubs.
Too much Mexican food, David?
No Mexican food.
We had too much Chinese or Asian food, whatever that
I
was.
did eat a lot of breakfast too last night, though.
Free what?
Call from Adler.
Care for drinks here?
Check you, David.
Flop is deuce 6-7, pair of sevens for both Harmits and Lynn. David bets 550.
550.
Good answer.
The turn is another 7. This could turn into a very large pot. Really no reason for Lynn to check here. Might as well bet. And that bet is $775. Now $3,000 in the pot.
775.
And the raise comes from Dan.
Third hand, Dan.
Excuse me?
Third hand.
Third hand what?
Oh, we're tangling. Third hand I play.
Well, you told me you want to play big pots with me, so I'm
That's
giving you an
true.
opportunity. Oh, Lord. Should I go sit on the couch while we wait 10 minutes for you to make a decision, or no?
All right, I'm all in.
I call.
All in.
You got a set?
Nope, I have 7.
You got me beat. I got a 7 also. Wow. Once or twice?
Up to you.
All right, twice.
All right, twice.
All right, so we're going to run it twice, so we'll have 2 rivers. In order for a player to win, they have to hit both of them. The first one is a jack, and the second one is a king.
Just count, I'll give it to you. Nice hand, David.
My secret. This runs super good. Not that secretive.
Very valid strategy.
All right, I gotta put on the shades. I
You
want a
definitely
hand.
got to wear the shades.
Good hand, David.
You with the first one.
Thank you.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I don't need that, though. That's okay.
Dan back at it with queen 10.
Yeah, I think that's not one. Could be owls.
David's going to go after more of his money.
I had a water coming.
Action is on Todd Brunson.
Water.
There's your water.
Thank you.
Take a bit.
Todd re-raises with ace king.
Care for drinks here?
Al Adler in the small blind will call with pocket 5s. When you have ace-king, I think you want to be heads up against a hand like pocket fives. So here we go. The flop is 8-8-7. Al checks. And
eight and a cue.
And a call from Al. Here comes the turn. It's a 5, and that gives Adler a full house. Checking again, begging for Todd to bet. Sure enough, here comes the cash. $14.50 to bet from Todd Brunson. This pot approaching $5,000.
33.
And Al will raise to 3,300. Ah, poker players.
Thank you, sir.
You gotta love a man who carries around a wad of cash with a rubber band around it. When we return, more from our $25.50 cash game,
The new guys just win every pot, I guess.
and we'll spend some time with Todd Brunson away from the table. Next on Poker Night in America. Thanks for coming back to Poker Night in America. Let's return to the table. Blinds are 25 and 15 here at Peppermill in Reno.
It was a suspect move at best.
Over to Al, 9-4 of spades. Matt Berkey calls. Dan Harmon's calls.
Anybody call?
Not enough. Wee.
I need the glasses, David.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
No, I might need it.
Throw it.
Just a bit outside. How do they lay off pitches that close, David? I don't know.
I think he needs for good luck.
Another deuce on the turn. Laughlin's ace-king is still ahead.
What is that, John?
Check.
Berkey bets $1,400. That'll get rid of Dan. Now back to Steven. And a call as we approach 5K in this pot. The river is a harmless 3. And a check behind from Berkey.
Nut. Nice hand, Doctor.
Want to be like the oddball in kindergarten.
Yeah, no, same. Like, I write with my right now, but any sports, I play with my left hand.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, whatever hand you throw with, that's what handed you are. I know a lot of people who claim to be left-handed, and then they'll like throw a ball right-handed. It just seems very strange to me.
I mean, it's actually an advantage, man. If you can get your kid to be lefty, because then they're gonna be forced to do stuff right-handed. Like you get a sport like basketball, lacrosse, or something where they got to go both ways, and they're just that much better.
In baseball, it's like if you're left-handed and you pitch, you have a huge edge. I mean, I didn't throw that hard, and I got further than my talent probably deserved.
Yeah, in tennis, it's actually a huge advantage for left-handed.
What's the big deal in tennis with the lefty? Just spin you're not used to facing?
Yeah, because angles outwards. So like the ball's like really hard to pick up and hit back. It's like Nadal when he serves on.
For a righty, he's
Yeah.
to his backhand.
So on the right-hand side when he serves, the ball spins out. It's like almost impossible to hit it back. So. Ooh.
And the other pure one in sports would be like a first baseman. It's better to be lefty because of the obvious.
That's becoming less and less true.
How come?
It's never been like a huge advantage. It's just one more position that a lefty can play. Otherwise, you're restricted to pitching or outfield. Yeah, I mean, it's a small advantage. You know,
2100.
Well, that's how a man makes a raise. 2,100.
Your hand, Todd.
That's a nice hand.
God, I flopped 2 pair just right in the muck.
Well, it just goes to show if you're going to go toe-to-toe with a member of the Brunson dynasty, you better be prepared to say goodbye to your chips. Well, our own Nolan Dalla and the Poker Night in America crew got to tag along with Todd and the rest of the Brunson clan to Big Sky Country for the Todd Brunson Montana Poker Challenge. Let's check it out.
Well, this is the 8th year. It's not a real big tournament, but it's just kind of a smaller thing for friends and family and stuff like that. There's some poker in the area, and I just kind of wanted to promote it a little bit.
They come from all over. I mean, this is not just some local people, but it's people that flew in from the East Coast and certainly Las Vegas and points beyond.
Yeah,
You've known a lot of these people a long time, haven't you?
A lot of people come every year, yeah.
This is our 4th year, I believe, here at the Montana Challenge. We're all from Salinas, California.
He's originally from Pennsylvania, but he's been in Georgia a long time, and we flew separately to Denver, met and flew from Denver to here together.
It's great out here. I love Montana. It's my first time here. It's like a little piece of heaven out here.
The beautiful mountains, the lakes, and the people are outrageously nice.
You can go water skiing, you can go horseback riding. Glacier Park is only an hour away. I mean, I should own Montana. I'm selling it, so might as well, right?
Like my tournament's a $1,500 buy-in, but I have it. It's broken down into 5 buy-ins of 300, and I do that for people who just can't afford to, pony up the whole 1,500. They can come by once or twice or whatever they want to do.
You know, poker's so intense, and this environment just lightens it up, and it makes it much more fun than going down to the World Series.
It's really interesting, Todd. You know, you and I have seen a lot of tournaments over the years, and your structure was pretty remarkable. I mean, the players came up here to Montana, and they got a lot of play.
Yeah, I do. Day 1, I do really slow with like Alan Kessler, 3-hour levels, and then day 2 is a little more traditional. It goes 1 hour, and then after dinner 40 minutes. And I don't go up real fast. It's not not the old days double. I do it more Alan Kessler approved.
Alan Kessler approved tournament.
Chainsaw approved.
It's so different here than being in Vegas, and it's such a great atmosphere, and to get in nature and just feel it, and it's just very spiritual here and very soothing, a great place to be. And what's going on behind me? That's my brother, y'all.
The Brunson family is, after we met him here, it's been a great, just a great family and a great gang of people.
I mean, they've just worked their tails off all week long to make sure everybody had a great time.
Todd is a wonderful person. You gotta get to know him. He's very straightforward, comes from a good family. He's somebody I can call my friend. Most of the poker players I don't want to call my friend, and I like to call him my friend.
Todd generally has a great heart. Don't quote me on that, but Todd has a great heart. I mean, and look, you have Pam, you have Doyle. They're the first family of poker, hands down.
And the entire family, first class as well. More Poker Night in America when we return. Closed captioning is brought to you as a public service by Poker Night in America.
That's how I tore my ACL.
Really?
Yeah.
Doing what?
You know how they have the dual bags at first base?
The dual bag?
Like they have 2 bases to run.
You run to a base, so you don't make a play at first base. Like you run to a base, and then the guy's standing on first base to catch it. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So the runner has his own base and the fielder.
When did that start?
I don't know. I've only played for a few years.
It's a very, very smart thing to do.
Yeah, people get crushed.
Yeah. That being said, it didn't help me.
Really?
I was beating out a ground ball to second base. I actually did beat it out. The first baseman went for it and then doubled back to cover.
Yeah.
And he just had no business being out there to begin with. He lost his feet and just as soon as my foot contacted the outside bag, he came barreling through me. There was probably a split second where I could have lowered my shoulder and just trucked him instead of trying to get out of the way, which I probably would have saved my knee.
So brutal, man. So many people get hurt and interfere.
Honestly, didn't even really hurt. I knew I probably tore something just because it's the knee. Yeah, it's just the knee, and like, what else can you really do? And I was so livid. Like, I mean, I was just irate when I got up. I just wanted, I wanted to tackle the guy because it's like you have 6 feet to work with, where you don't have to get all tangled up.
Freaking slow pitch softball.
I didn't play it for so long because I didn't think it would be competitive enough for me to enjoy, and also I didn't want to run the risk of getting hurt. Like, I see you have to be insane to pitch in a slow pitch league.
Oh, because it comes right back
Yeah,
at
it's
you.
like,
Yeah,
you're automatically out if the hitter hits it back at the guy.
Yeah, but you
who
also
cares? Like, you kill. I mean, these are
hit
grown
you right
men.
in the temple or whatever.
Yeah, these are grown men swinging a 22-ounce bat. Yep. It's insane to me. It was shockingly like a ton of fun though. Like, you get to play outfield. It's a lot like playing like senior league and junior varsity type.
Not so competitive.
Yeah, I mean, you just get up there and try to smash the ball and then run around in the outfield.
Yep.
I went so long without hitting too. It was like nice to actually get back to it.
Yeah.
And the river is a 10. Wow, what a turn of events. Now it's Tom Schneider with the bigger full house. He checks. There's no way that Adler puts him on 9-10. I think he's definitely got him on a 9, but not 9-10 probably.
2,000?
2,000 is the bet.
$52.
I wonder if Adler's thinking about re-raising and just going all in. Is he thinking, how do I fold a full house here? Does he have 9-7? Does he have 9-10? But a call is what it will be from Adler.
Yeah, I mean, how I don't go broke there, Tom, I figured that's the only hand you had. What a cooler. Nice hand.
What was the best score at the bowling alley?
Who knows? It was so disjointed. I don't know. I think it was like a tag team event of sorts.
No, mine was the best one. I bet he would whiff it.
Call from Matt. David Lynn on the button will call with King 9 suited.
Yeah, 109, but I thought that was the best.
No, that's not the best.
Yeah, I know.
You really shouldn't even have mentioned it, actually.
All right, I will pretend. I'll keep these $5 as my defining moment of intelligence to know that everything else didn't happen.
I know, Tom. I'm like chip challenge.
Everyone's checking around at David Lynn. He will not check the button. He's betting 325. Hank Zarnecki is flopped middle pair, but has the nut flush draw, so he's definitely not going anywhere. Everyone folds, so now we're heads up with Lynn and Zarnecki. Turn pairs the board.
It's a great check on the end, by the way. Maybe you put me on a straight.
575.
Maybe I would bluff at it. That's why my gut was to make it like 11,000. But then it's like, if you shove, I can't fold for 4,000.
And the river is a king of diamonds. That gives Hank the nut flush and gives David 2 pair.
800.
And David Lynn is betting 800.
When I look at the hand, it was like, what, 279?
All right, the raise is to 23.50. Now, if you're David, you got to figure out if he's trying to bet the scare card or if he was riding that flush draw all the way to the river.
No diamond one time.
Right. It's one of those cards that makes sense.
You know it, I know it. David's got a losing hand. If he makes the call, his money's all gone. Find out what happens next when we come back. Welcome back to Poker Night in America. Big hand here between David Lynn and Hank Zarnecki. Hank had the best hand and a great draw going all the way to the river. The river gave him the nut flush, but it also gave David Lynn a bigger two pair.
It's probably a really bad call.
If that's the way you're going to be, I'll let you take.
I call.
There's an old saying in poker, if you think long, you think wrong.
Anytime I win the hand. Nice hand.
That's exactly what just happened to David Lynn.
Weren't you and I just talking about that board earlier?
I know.
Well, that's going to do it for tonight, and this is our last episode of Day 1 here at Peppermill. That means we start over with a whole new cast of players on our next episode, so be sure to come back next week. For more from Poker Night in America, log on to pokernight.com or connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. For everyone here at Poker Night in America, I'm Chris Hansen. Poker Night is brought to you by 888 Poker, where the world plays online.
It's so different here than being in Vegas. It's such a great atmosphere and to get in nature. It's soothing, a great place to be. And what's going on behind me? That's my brother, y'all.
From Peppermill Resort in Reno, Nevada, this is Poker Night in America. Welcome to Poker Night in America. I'm your host, Chris Hansen. Todd Brunson, the son of legendary poker player Doyle Brunson, has managed to create his own identity in the world of poker, which is not easy to do when your father is a poker legend. But with 33 cashes in the WSOP and almost $4 million in tournament winnings, nicknamed Darkhorse, he's also known for having won over $13.5 million in a two-day span in a heads-up $50,000, $100,000 limit hold'em game, later chronicled in the book The Professor, the Banker, and the Suicide King. He agreed to join us at our cash table, and while we can't give him nosebleed action like that, we can still show him a pretty good time. Let's catch up with Todd and the rest of our pros at our $25.50 cash game at Peppermill Resort Hotel in Reno, Nevada.
Whoever wins the pot gets
Poker Night is brought to you by 888 Poker, where the world plays online.
You mean only for you? It was like a personal thing?
Under the gun, yes.
Al Adler makes it 125 with ace jack. The blinds are $25 and $50, but there is an optional $100 straddle if you're under the gun.
The water would be great.
A raise from David Lynn playing poker with queen 7 of clubs.
Too much Mexican food, David?
No Mexican food.
We had too much Chinese or Asian food, whatever that was.
I ate a lot of breakfast too last night, though.
Free what?
Call from Adler.
Here for drinks here.
Check you, David.
Flop is deuce 6-7, pair of sevens for both Harmits and Lynn. David bets 550.
550.
Good answer.
The turn is another 7. This could turn into a very large pot. Really no reason for Lynn to check here. Might as well bet. And that bet is $775. Now $3,000 in the pot. And the raise comes from Dan.
Third hand, Dan.
Excuse me?
Third hand.
Third hand what?
Oh, we're tangling. Third hand I play.
Well, you told me you want to play big pots with me, so I'm
That's
giving you
true.
an opportunity. Oh, Lord. Should I go sit on the couch while we wait 10 minutes for you to make a decision, or no?
All right, I'm all in.
I call?
All in.
You got a set?
Nope, I have 7.
You got me beat. I got a 7 also. Wow. Once or twice?
Up to you.
All right, twice.
All right, twice.
All right, so we're going to run it twice. So we'll have 2 rivers. In order for a player to win, they have to hit both of them. The first one is a jack, and the second one is a king.
Just count. I'll give it to you.
Nice hand, David. My secret. This runs super good.
Not that secretive.
Valid strategy. All right, I gotta put on the shades.
You definitely got to wear the shades.
Good hand, David. Thank you.
Yes. So, yeah, I don't need that, though. That's okay.
Dan back at it with queen 10.
Yeah, I think that's not one. Could be else.
David's going to go after more of his money.
I had a water coming.
Action is on Todd Brunson.
There's your water.
Thank you.
Take it back.
Todd re-raises with ace-king.
Carefree drinks here.
Al Adler in the small blind will call with pocket 5s. When you have ace-king, I think you want to be heads up against a hand like pocket 5s. So here we go. The flop is 8-8-7. Al checks.
Eight and a cue.
And a call from Al. Here comes the turn. It's a 5, and that gives Adler a full house. Checking again, begging for Todd to bet. Sure enough, here comes the cash. $14.50 to bet from Todd Brunson. This pot approaching $5,000.
33.
And Al will raise to 3,300. Ah, poker players.
Thank you, sir.
You gotta love a man who carries around a wad of cash with a rubber band around it. When we return, more from our $25.50 cash game,
The new guys just win every pot, I guess.
and we'll spend some time with Todd Brunson away from the table. Next on Poker Night in America.